Mic on, mic on. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my new. I'll try to make this a daily series. I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but I would like to post smaller, more candid form content just to talk to you guys about Genshin, possibly Genshin news. I don't know what I'm gonna call the series. Maybe like daily dose of Josh or daily dose of Genshin. Just because it's easy. Not to copyright, but it's a catchy title. You know what I mean? But today's topic. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Today's topic. Stop. We're gonna talk about Tighnari. And I know there are a bunch of other topics that we can go over when it comes to 3.0, Sumeru, we have lore, we have the Dendro elements, but in time we're going to talk about those, and those are going to be other, daily talks throughout this series. But today I really wanted to talk about one of the larger points of contention, at least that I believe, in relation to, or sorry, in relativity to my opinions of the character versus the public's opinions of the character. Now, what do I mean by that? Tighnari, and from what people have been speculating, because obviously we don't look at leaks here, is seeming to be quite the underwhelming character. And that's fair. What is this? I get a... What? Are you... I've never done that, ever. That's... Okay. But Tighnari. A little bit of an understated character. A lot of people are not necessarily looking Tighnari's way, just because we are assuming that the Dendro element and, just Sumeru itself are going to release a lot more higher profiled characters, and that's a fair assessment. However, if I may draw us to some, points in history, more specifically in the 2.0 patches, let's take a look at a character who looked a little bit different than the rest, yet turned out to be one of the best characters to come out of the 2.0 patches, and that's Jshoea. Now, why do I mention Jshoea? Jshoea, to start out the 2.0 patches, up until, I think, 2.4, or honestly, whenever Yunjin was released, was quite stale, and definitely underperformed, even though she was supposed to be this single target specialist. With the introduction of Yunjin and other different circumstances and situations, i.e. the Spiral Abyss, Tighnari, Jshoea went from around like B- tier, I'd say, like averagely. Like, she was definitely not like, up there high on people's tier list, to being A or even S tier, as she's able to output as much damage or even more in some circumstances than Hu Tao can. So now, where do this ties back to Tighnari? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I live next to an airport, and it can get loud sometimes. So where this ties back to Tighnari is that Tighnari himself isn't like the other Dendro characters, or most likely is not like the other Dendro characters, in that he is going to be one of the rare Dendro DPS characters. Now, we can go into the inner workings of the Dendro element, but I won't do that today. What I will say is that the meta, at least from what I can kind of ascertain, is that Dendro is going to be a support or sub DPS sort of elemental class, very much like Anemo is, in that it does have one general specific role. Anemo's is to swirl and to reduce elemental resistances and also to give elemental damage bonus to your team. Dendro's purpose is to most likely gift buffs like elemental mastery or, you know, whatever buff that Dendro is generally attuned with, and to also introduce the Dendro element for polymorphic reactions. Polymorphic reactions being 3 elements in a chain in order to produce 2 different reactions. For example, again, I don't want to get too much into it, but, you know, Dendro Electro gives you Quicken, and then you apply Electro again, you get Activate, right? So the purpose of Dendro is to initiate that said reaction chain. For Tighnari, because his charge attacks are able to be applied in quick bursts, his burst attack itself is quite not flashy, excuse me, in the words of aesthetics, but flashy in timely, in that it's able to be applied quite quickly. So when it comes to Tighnari, more likely than not, you're going to be applying the spread reaction. Let's say we're going with the Electro example. That would be Dendro, Electro, Dendro, which will apply more Dendro damage through like a flat, you know, damage bonus to the initial damage or whatever it may be. So Tighnari, now as we can sort of establish what types of reactions, what types of roles that he's going to run, now we're looking at what we have now, and that's, or excuse me, up for the near future, and that's just Tighnari, Kale, maybe even Dendro Traveler, but we highly doubt Dendro Traveler is going to be any form of useful. And I mean, from 3.0, the Dendro characters are really not looking that hot. They're really just not looking that hot. But we do have to wait and see what the other portions of the 3.0 patches actually bring us in order to make our final conclusions. So those who are sleeping on Tighnari now, much like a lot of people did with Kazuha when he first came out, what a lot of people did with Yoimiya when she first came out, what a lot of people did when Kogami first came out, not seeing or being able to see the potential of a character and what roles they would actually fit in within the ecosystem. So this is not to say that I'm all in on Tighnari, yet what I'm trying to establish here is that we need to give these characters a lot more time before we can see them fully flushed out. And with more characters comes more possibilities, comes more combinations, and comes the potential, or comes, excuse me, the opportunity to realize one's potential. So, with that being said, Tighnari, I do have high hopes for the character, as I believe it's going to be one of the more unique characters, very much like Yoimiya, a single target DPS, versus Tighnari, who is actually a Dendro DPS, versus what I assume is going to be, you know, the classification of Dendro supports out in the world. That's my take for today. I don't have much else that I need to talk about Tighnari for, you know, at least at this moment in time. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this little chat. We're going to be having more daily talks about different elements of Sumeru, its lore, the characters, artifacts, and all that stuff moving forward with this series. So thanks, guys. I really do appreciate you watching. If you guys are listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys would like to watch more of these takes, and just chill out on YouTube. Make sure you guys drop a follow. Excuse me, follow. What am I on? TikTok? Drop a subscribe. Make sure you guys turn on the bell. Like if you actually did enjoy the content and if you would like to see more. And comment what you would like me to talk about next. Once I finish off this little snake guy, I think that's going to be... Oh my goodness. He went into the ground. Once I finish off this snake guy, we're going to be out. And there we go. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next daily dose of Josh Genshin. I'll figure out what I want to call the series. If you guys know a good title, let me know in the comments down below. Peace.